Hi, and welcome to Allot on Air. During the next 10 minutes, we'll be meeting with industry experts to discuss the hottest trends in telecom, cybersecurity, and network intelligence.
I'm Barry Spielman, Security Product Marketing Director at Allot. Joining us today in the Allot on Air studio is Hagay Katz, VP Cybersecurity at Allot. Hagay, thanks for joining us today. In today's podcast, we are putting the spotlight on small to medium businesses. Hagay, SMBs are a main target of cyber criminals, and the COVID-19 pandemic has only made things worse. Why is it that SMBs are so vulnerable?
Thanks, Barry, for hosting me. Well, small medium businesses, unlike others, they value the business that they have, and they are always thinking about what can go wrong, and they are more, let's say, aware than consumers about the damages that they can get. At the same time, they do not have any information technology group that can help them, because they lack the knowledge of how to protect themselves, and therefore they are looking for help that should be from somebody else, service providers, for example, and they are looking for it in a very reasonable price. At the end of the day, small, medium businesses, when we are looking on the lower end of the segment, they live in a way that they are very economical, and any expense that they have must be well considered. So the combination of lack of knowledge, awareness of the need, requirement for low pricing is defining that. And COVID-19 in general expanded the attack surface for hackers, and they think that in SMBs they can get more. And therefore, SMBs that sits at home or SMBs in their perimeter are susceptible for such attacks.
Okay, so the awareness is high and the budgets are low, and for the most part, they're not going to do it in-house. And you said that they're going to look to service providers. Could you expand a little bit more? As this is a phenomenon that we're seeing, that SMBs are turning to outsource the cybersecurity?
Certainly. So what we see in the market is that where traditionally we were segmenting the market for consumers, small office, home office, and enterprise, we see that we are now seeing more focus on what we call small, medium businesses, because they cannot afford the high pricing, the high budget services. And we see examples. We have Telefonica as a customer. The price that they pay for a service is about 10 euros, which is per month, which is a reasonable price for a small, medium business, even relatively very low. And we see a trend also in the US, in a tier one carrier there that we are dealing with. So it's a growing market, and as we speak with the COVID-19, we get requests from service providers to take care of this segment.
Okay, so you talked about Telefonica. Know that it's a proven and successful solution for them. Can you tell me a little bit more about the solution and how it's worked out for Telefonica, perhaps in terms of adoption, customer satisfaction, those kind of things?
Right. So Telefonica offered to small, medium businesses, they have about 120,000 or so small, medium businesses by the definition that I gave, that we are talking about less than 50 people without IT support. And they started to offer the service about a year ago, and they reached a penetration of nearly 30%. So they have about 40,000 or so SMBs that enroll to the service. Each one of them, as I said, pay about 10 euros per month. Their satisfaction, the net promoter score is very high, is something like 30 or so. And there is very little churn from the service. And it's a tremendous success. Typically, value-added services for security do not achieve in 1 year
that kind of penetration.
That kind of penetration, yes.
30% is very impressive, no question. But double-digit adoption rates for services, like you said, are unusual. So what's driving that? What are the differences between the solution you're describing and other solutions that are out there?
Right. So when you talk about mass market security services, and SMBs are still can be considered as mass market, unlike big enterprises, you need to have in your offering components that you do not find in a typical cybersecurity enterprise type of solutions. You want to engage with the customer, with the small, medium business. You want to show him the value. So he is getting a service awareness. Why I'm paying this 10 euros. So you want to be able that whilst he's using the internet, he can get reports about what has been done for him. And also we are using this go-to-market channel with them to promote the service, to promote the trial, and so forth. Also, it is very important that the sales force of the service provider will get appropriate training, so he knows how to sell it. Unlike the situation with consumer, the sales force has a lot of importance here in the penetration. So it's a combination of intimate relationship with the sales force and the platform that can provide service awareness to the people who are using that.
Great. So if you had to summarize, what are the elements of a cybersecurity solution, in your view, that would give the SMB the most value?
So I would divide it to several parts. So the first part is the pure functionality. That means we need to protect him against, of course, the usual threats. Threats are coming today. Mainly in the COVID, we see a lot of phishing attacks, but of course, there are many other types of threats, viruses, malware, Trojans, all sorts of software that can penetrate your devices and use them for mining, Bitcoin mining and other things. Bitcoin is now not so strong as it was before, but still we see it. But we see mainly a lot of phishing attacks today in the market. More than this, another component that is important is what we call content control. SMBs would like to have control on what the employees of the SMB are using. Certainly when they are using that, the time of use, and what type of applications and what type of sites they visit, and the solution of Network Secure can limit the type of application. It can limit the time of browsing, can limit the type of sites that you are using, and so forth. So that's the second component. So that this is in relation to the let's say the basic functionality,
right.
But this is not enough. The product must be tailored for mass market activation. So activation should be completely effortless for the small medium businesses. They need nothing to install on their devices. They don't want any operation system dependency. They don't want to see scanning on their devices, or we can offer endpoint solutions, but only to those who prefer to do that. What we see in the market is that the network-based solution is going high to 30% penetration, and the endpoint, only some of them are taking the endpoint. So simplicity is very, very important. Network-based simplicity and activation, as I said. Another important component is, as I said, service awareness, go-to-market channel. So we have ways to communicate with the SMB. and tell him in real time, we just stopped a phishing attack for you. We also can provide reporting to him about how many attacks were stopped in a specific day, week, month, or so.
So they get the value.
They get the value. And in terms of the service provider, also there are benefits to the service provider. So far, we were talking more on the end consumer, but the service provider is the one that is providing the service. He needs a very scalable system. We are talking hundreds of thousands or millions of SMBs if we are talking on countries like the US or others. There are millions of them. And provisioning and footprint and cost must be controllable. Last thing is that the commercial model of working, we work in Telefonica in a commercial model that really they like, where because we are very confident in the success of the service, we invest in the hardware, software of the setting up the system, and we do revenue sharing with the operator, and therefore we are happy because we have recurring revenues. They are happy because we take the risk together with them. Right. And we are very close to the customer, and we have a common goal to make the service successful. And they like it very much, and it works very nicely.
It definitely seems like it's working. Hagay Katz, VP Cybersecurity at Allot. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Bali.
That's it for today's episode. Thanks for listening. You can get more information about network intelligence and security solutions for service providers and enterprises on our website at allot.com. Subscribe to this podcast to make sure you hear about new trends and technologies on the next episode of Allot on Air.